Hey guys. Okay. There.
Recording in progress.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the first of our pre-match press conferences for the 23-24 season. We're going to start, as always, Sky and Gary. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Happy new season.
Thank you.
53,000 for the North London Derby last season, a WSL attendance record, I think that's right in saying. 51,000 already sold for this weekend, but on target to beat 53,000. Just how important is it that these attendances keep growing?
I mean, when I speak about momentum for the club, I think attracting large audiences to Emirates Stadium is certainly a massively important bit to that. And I think it's part of the club's longer term plans in moving more and more games to the Emirates Stadium. And of course, in order to do so, we need to have the interest there. So it's great to see that we have that.
The more times that record is broken going forward, obviously because some of the title rivals are still to come, the better.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like we want to have it like against Wolfsburg to be a sold out game. So there are no more records to break. We want consistency. I think we are moving away from the idea that it's a one-off to sell out the big stadium. What we want for the sustainability and the growth of the game is to have consistency in selling out big stadiums. That's the next step for women's football. That's the next step for WSL. That's why it's pleasing to see it's more clubs that are putting more games on bigger stadiums and are investing in advertising to get more people to the games as well.
Are you as excited as ever about the start of a new season? Do you get the sense that the squad are excited as well?
Of course, otherwise you shouldn't be here. It's a new season. Everything is possible when you start a new season, and it's a part of how you live football. Where many people celebrate the start of a new year, we celebrate the start of a new season. We wish each other a happy new season like you did, and we want to bring all the energy and passion and quality on the pitch together.
New deal for Katie McCabe. Tell us about that.
I mean, it's been really nice and important for us to see how we have been able to secure our top talent in staying at the club. Katie, and I think she had an amazing season last season. She shows her versatility, but even more so importantly, she shows her quality as a football player. And I think when she gets the right line between playing with the right amount of aggression and the right amount of cleverness, I think she's a world-class player, and I think she gets that balance right more often and often.
Saw a bit of training, the warm-ups for training today, so thanks for that. Beth Mead is out there looking, I guess, as comfortable as she can look. What's the prognosis now with her?
Yeah, so she has now returned to train fully with us, which is really, really good. So that means now she can be in contention for being in matchday squads. And of course, very soon, maybe even at the weekend, being able to play minutes. But we still have another training to do, but she's getting very, very close.
So just to clarify, fans at the weekend may see Beth on the pitch?
If may is clarify, then it's like that. But it's like how you saying may.
Alicia Russo, obviously a big signing in the summer. How's she fitting in? How excited are you to have her here?
Really nice having her here. It's we can see in training that what we saw when she was playing for the opposition and for England, the qualities that she can bring us on the pitch. So that adds both quality and depth to our squad. So really excited about that.
And just one more from me, another signing, Kyra Cooney Cross. Had obviously a very good World Cup. still young though. Is she one for now or more for the future? She's obviously got a big future at the club, but from straight away?
I think whenever you bring in a new player, if that's Alessia Russo or Karakuna Cross or Amanda Ilestedt, I mean, you can name anyone that we bring in, it's always going to be a little bit of time of settlement. That is all very natural, because you're going to find a new city to live in, you're going to form new relationships on the pitch, you're going to adapt to a new club with its culture, its game ideas and so on. Sometimes that goes quick, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. The factor that we have with all the players that we have brought in is that we believe in them long term, and we see that they have qualities that they really can bring to the team and do that. And Cara, she has some tremendous qualities with the way that she passes the football, which I think is going to be really good for Arsenal. But because when she came to us here, of course we haven't been able to play her in any games at the moment. She has just been able to practice, and most of the practices has been without any large numbers. This was the first day that we had the whole squad back for her to practice with. So of course we brought her in so she can do an impact immediately. But if that's this weekend or if it comes a little bit later, we have to wait and see.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's go. Robert?
Yeah, it's the start of the WSL season, and I want to talk to you about the challenges you'll face. You're starting now with the Liverpool Women at home. If you can give us your overview on that match and also what you expect this season.
I expect it to be the most competitive WSL season that it's ever been. I think a lot of squads have been strengthening. I think Liverpool is a very competitive side. They've been playing a very competitive schedule in pre-season against a lot of top teams, and I think their performances have been good in these games. So we're playing against a tough opposition. Today we did our 9th training session in 4 months with a whole squad for it. So that's where we're coming from. Tomorrow we're gonna do our 10th training session for it. So we need to get all our basics, all our relationships right on the pitch in order to be able to go fully on Sunday. But we expect a tough opponent, and we know we're coming from the last 4 months with not a lot of time together. So we need to cherish all that moment, but we need to get the basics right on Sunday.
Showed how it's moved on the game now. You're, like you said, playing in almost a sellout stadium at the Emirates. What's it going to be like combining also games at Meadow Park this season?
Yeah, I think that's part of the growth for us and the process that we are in. That we are in the process of having 2 home grounds, and as always, I try to see things in the positive way, and I think we have had some brilliant nights and days at Meadow Park with the fans creating a great atmosphere there. So for us, we will always love that, but our long-term goal is to play as many games as possible at the Emirates Stadium.
Can you explain, being at the World Cup, how the game's really transcended to such a global level in such a fast pace?
Say again.
The global interest now in the women's game's really increased, as you would have seen when you were at the World Cup in Australia.
Yeah, I think it really goes hand in hand with the growth of the women's game, where we can see both on club level and national team level with increasing attention, increasing audiences, and it's well deserved because the product is great.
Thank you. Tim?
Hi Jonas. I wanted to ask a couple of specifics on injuries. First of all, Lotta, who missed the England games. I watched the Sweden game and Lena seemed to get a bit of a kick. And it might have been my eyesight failing me, but I don't think I saw Noelle in training this morning. What's the situation with those 3?
Yeah, so Lotte has returned to full training. Lena is able to train as well. Noelle picked up a slight knock in the game with Switzerland, but we need to assess her. She's not ruled out of Sunday, but we need to assess her tomorrow in order to see her status.
And I wanted to ask about Leia Cadena as well. Clearly, you know, losing Hafa over the summer, a player Arsenal didn't want to lose, going to be very, very difficult to replace. But what are the qualities you saw in Leia? Clearly, probably a slightly different player to Hafa, not least because she's not left-footed, even though she plays on the left. Was it hard to find a left-footer? And what were the qualities you really saw in Leia Cadena to come into that role?
Left-footed central defenders, there's not a lot to start with. It's a very short list when you look at it from a global perspective. So you quite quickly see if that's player of the quality that you want or if it's not. And there, you're having Cadena. I think some standout things she has is the way she passes the ball as well. Really good passer of the ball. She has some really good leadership qualities, given her age, and she puts a real pride in defending. So I think that is 3 key qualities that we saw with her. And she has a really ambitious personality. Wants to grow, wants to take the next step as a player, and I think that's the mentality that we need at Arsenal. So I think and hope that's going to be a really good fit.
And probably last transfer question from me for at least 4 months. You said in Sweden that Arsenal were in the market for a right back, so that didn't really happen. I know that's probably difficult because Laura Wienreuther is going to come back, and so there are 2 right backs here. Was that just a bit too difficult to source?
I think I said we were in the market. Not necessarily on only one position, but I think we have options like we have seen before, with other players being able to play right fullback as well, especially in the way that we play that position. I see a number of solutions that we have in-house to do so, so that's good. And for the first time in a very long time, I think we have a good competition in the squad from a numbers perspective as well. I think this might be the first time for a very, very long time that I might have to do a decision on our squad selection, because we can only select 20 players. And I think that's a great situation to be in, because that's the healthy competition that we need. Thanks.
Art.
Hi, it's just on that point on competition, I guess, as you say, you haven't had that depth in the past 2 seasons you've been here. Is that the real kind of difference you've seen between, say, yourselves and Chelsea when you kind of just take the seasons as a whole?
I think it's making it too simple to put it like that. But if I'm just thinking about what's the next step for us has been, that has definitely been important for us. We have seen that both seasons here, that we needed deeper squads, more competition, different roles and responsibilities, so we can have more flexible approaches to different game states and to find more solutions during the season. So just looking internally at us, this has definitely been much needed for us.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you remember when we spoke in the summer, and I mentioned something about the TV show and how there was an analogy in there about people basically having to make decisions, hard decisions, when things were going against them. And I asked you, how do you do that? And you said, basically, look at your core principles and stick to them. Is that something you've kind of had to really think about in the past few weeks and months because of what's happened, say, with the Champions League exit, the scheduling, and just, again, the limited numbers you've had with the squad?
Yeah, I think it's you can always choose when things, even if you think it's a challenge or things go against you, you can choose to be the victim and you can choose to blame for it, or you can take responsibility and find solutions for it. And I think that's the important part when you're a leader for it. It is you have to accept what is happening. Your role is not to put blame onto it. Your role is not to find excuses to not perform. Your role is to find solutions and to help the team to find solutions for it. And sometimes it's easy to be a leader when you're in success for it, because then you're only saying the nice things, or you can just roll along with it. But in tougher times, you still need to stand up for your values, for your principles, and that's when you galvanize them. That's when people really understand that these things value. These things are not going to change. Even if we lose a game, even if we don't achieve what we want to do, these things are still going to remain the same things. And that's always, I think, a key learning for any team when you go through that you can feel like, okay, this is going to remain like constant principles for it, even when the weather is blowing and the conditions are tough, we're going to remain. So that's important.
Thanks, Art. If there's nothing else in the room, we'll come to Dan quickly on the call. Dan, we've got a couple of minutes, so if you want to go ahead.
Hi, Jonas. Hope you're well.
I am. How are you?
You mentioned about not bad, thanks. You mentioned about it being probably the most competitive league ever. You know, when you look at teams, you know, like Liverpool, Brighton, Leicester, you know how they've recruited this summer. How much more tougher is it going to be playing those kind of middle of the table teams this year?
I never think about it that way, because my only mentality is you prepare 100% for your opponent and you do your absolute very best in preparation, in execution, every single second on the pitch. I never for my life thought about any game in football as an easy game, so I'm not going to do that this season either.
And just finally, Alessia Russo, obviously it was a really eye-catching transfer for her to come to yourselves this summer, but yeah, you know, is it any kind of pressure on her shoulders to do really well, and have you set her kind of any goal targets this season?
Not setting goal targets, never done that for any player. Is there a pressure playing for a club like Arsenal? Of course it is. With all the history that we have and all the expectations that we have upon ourselves, of course there is pressure, but that's a privilege. We have that pressure because a lot of people care about what we're doing, and we want to be ambitious as well, and we're trying to create a culture where we help each other, where we work really hard together, and where we can thrive under that pressure.
And so, Jonas, best of luck for the weekend. Cheers.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. We'll leave it there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Good luck.